an exercise that is often difficult to understand, particularly for a group class. Without this proper breathing technique, you will also reduce the connection on the core muscles. Hello everyone, I am Patricia and I am the co-founder of the Swiss Pilates Institute. Today I would like to talk about knee stretch round back. It's an exercise that is often difficult to understand, particularly for a group class. So I would like to demonstrate you and go through the technique to really feel the abdominals. Many people don't feel actually so much in this exercise, and the key is really to learn the technique behind so that you really connect your abdominals. So first of all, we always do knee stretch round back with 2 springs. Usually it's a strong and medium, and depending on your body mass index, for a man it can be 2 strong springs. And make sure that you set up your carriage. If you have a contemporary reformer, we have stoppers, so make sure you correctly set it up. So the foot bar is at the top, and the first thing you have to do is to really align well your feet and your legs. So your knees and hips are width apart, and you want to really curl your toes, stretching your toes, and really trying to bring your heels toward the shoulder blocks as much as you can. Second, you really want to laterally rotate the humerus, like if you want to almost bend the foot bar. So the eye of the elbow will actually almost look a little bit forward. If you have problem to connect your lats while you perform this exercise, you can also micro bend your elbows. But originally we do it with straight arms. So here I'm going to demonstrate with a round back. But in knee stretch round back, the goal is not to actually round the upper back this way, right? It's to particularly round the lower back. So we want to really flex the lumbar spine. So the emphasis is on flexing the lumbar spine. And for that, we really need to recruit the abdominals, but also the hip extensors here to create this posterior pelvic tilt. Like if you activate, imagine my hand is like a wheel, and you see my pelvis is moving anteriorly, and here is posteriorly. So we want to keep this posterior pelvic tilt, creating a really good contraction on the abdominals. Now, after that, we don't need to fully round the spine. We don't want to become kyphasic, right? So we can just keep eye focus here on the springs while we do this exercise. All right. Basically, from here, we are ready to do it. So it's an inhale to press the carriage out. And the emphasis is to close the carriage with your abdominals. So of course, when you do that, you want to emphasize also on using proper breath. And remember, the proper breath, you expand your ribs like an accordion when you inhale, and when you exhale, you close your rib cage, you throw the belly in, and you gently contract the pelvic floor muscle. So without this proper breathing technique, you will also reduce the connection on the core muscles. So when you open the carriage, what we also want to emphasize is on not moving too much, not losing the curve, the flexion of the lumbar spine. So be careful when you open the carriage not to lose that. You see here, I was losing that, right? So you want to think about the heels. So really dorsiflexing the ankles as much as you can here almost, and then opening the carriage slightly, and then exhaling. So now I'm going to demonstrate you this exercise without talking, because without proper breath, I will not feel the essence of this exercise. So just observe the alignment, the line, observe what is moving, observe what is stable. My shoulder joint should not move. My pelvis should not move into this posterior pelvic tilt. I have to keep that. I have to always keep the posterior pelvic tilt. So what is moving actually is just a little bit from the hip joint, a little bit. So you really want to press the carriage in and out very slightly. Last one. So really the emphasis here is on closing the carriage. You really feel the posterior chain of the body here, feeling the hip extensors, even the hamstrings working, but also of course the abdominals working to keep this posterior pelvic tilt and to emphasize on closing the carriage. So it's a little bit like if you would actually do this exercise like this. See, if you lie down on your back, I think it's a great way also here to practice that at home. So for you, in order to really understand this exercise, I wanted to really show that exercise because I know it's so difficult for the public to understand it in a group, or from a group class particularly. So of course we also have knee stretch flat back. So here I was showing you knee stretch round back here. But for knee stretch flat back, actually you try to bring your spine into a neutral alignment, and the goal is actually exactly the same here. But now, instead of posteriorly tilting the pelvis here, we want to stay neutral. So we actually really have here to play with our breath. And with that proper breath, and particularly while you perform this stretch flat back, you will not reap the benefits if you don't use proper breath. So that was knee stretch round back and knee stretch flat back. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.